Good day, folks. Welcome to On the Bench at Sport Fishing on the Fly. Today I'm going to tie for you my Straggle Caddis, and this is a pattern I designed for the BC interior still waters. Very good color, in particular for the caribou, this yellow color they really like. And you could do it in any color. I've done it in olive, different olive, and even brown would be fine. So make sure you have these materials ready before you tie the fly. For hook, I'm using a Daiichi 1760 size 8 curved nymph hook. For lead, I'm using, .020 lead wire. For thread, I'm using 12-aught Semperfli in brown, classic waxed. For the body, I'm using Caddis Amber Nymph Dub, and I'm using Straggle string by Semperfli in golden olive. Or you could use any combination of colors that you prefer. For the thorax, I'm using Diamond Dub in peacock. You could use peacock ice dub. And for the tail and the hackle, I'm using Ringneck Hen Pheasant Tail Clump by Hairline. You could use just regular pheasant tail as well, would be fine. I'm just going to lay down a base of thread for my lead to sit on. I don't like it to sit on the bare shank. Just take this all the way back. Now I'm going to wind my lead on here. I've been doing about 10 turns of it. So you just trap it with your finger there. And now I'm just going to adjust it here. I want to bring it just a little bit forward. Right about there. You could use a bead on this fly if you don't want to use lead or whatever, but I like to have some weight on it. Even though it's a big hook, it'll sink good anyway. You could tie this in like a 10 or a 6 even bigger, depending on your water. So I'm just going to take a chunk of the hen pheasant. It's got this beautiful modeling on it. That's why I chose these feathers. I have a fly that's very similar to this pattern that works very well. It's got the same sort of modeling on it. So it's a very, very short tail. Caddis don't really have a tail. The only reason I'm putting it on is in case they might take it for a dragon even. And because the other pattern I use also has a tail like this, I'm just going to keep it similar. This pattern, whoops, dropped my scissors. This pattern is a combination between two different caddis patterns that I tie already, and I've had lots of success with. Now I'm just going to take the hackle, and I like to tie it on before I tie my body in. So I'm just going to take a good clump of it. At least probably 15 or so, and then I'm going to measure it out. I'm going to turn it on upside down so the modeling is actually facing towards the hook here. I'm just going to measure it from the head to the tail, to the end of the tail, and that's where I'm going to tie it in. And the reason I have it upside down is because when I bring it back, then the modeling the outside of the feather will show a lot better. Take a couple of turns with the thread here, not tight, and then just pull the feather around the hook, making sure it's all the way 360 around, and then you can tighten that up. And I just take these, snip them at an angle, trying to maintain that nice smooth underbody. And now I'm going to take the nymph dub and the straggle string. And what I've been doing is taking 2 pieces of the nymph dub and 1 piece of the straggle and tying them in together. Let's get all those together and then even them up. And then just tie these back right to that tail. There's 2 ways you could do this. You could take the nymph dub and just wrap it up the hook and then go over top of the nymph dub with the straggle as a rib, or you can just twist them together, which is what I've been doing mainly. Especially if you want it a little more subtle. I'm just going to leave some room there for my thorax. Tie that off. And the other thing you can do with the nymph dub is just take it and pull it off the core here. And just spin it right onto your thread. Just like dubbing. Like that. And now what I've been doing is taking a little Velcro brush and just brushing out this body and making it really buggy. Too long in there, just pull those out. Go over top of this a little bit for my thorax here. And I'm just going to take a little bit of the peacock dubbing and twist it on my thread. Build a nice thorax there. Just need a tiny bit more. And then you just take your hackle. It tends to stick together a little bit. That's okay. You just take your fingers and just brush them all back. Go over top of them with your thread. And then just check. And if it's not all the way completely around or you need to adjust them at this point, you can actually just move them with your thumbnail. Or just like that. If you didn't have enough in there, you could tie more on at this point too. And then just build a head. And whip finish. Could use a thicker thread too. I've used 12/aught here. That was all I didn't have 8/aught. If you wanted a bigger head on there. Snip that off. I'm just going to take a little bit of resin here. I'm using the Semperfli No Tack. Just brush this on. I got a bunch of these little brushes off Amazon for like a cheap, $5 or something, about 100 of them. I don't like getting resin on my tools, so they work pretty good. They're a little bit big, but they work great for wiping it on bodies and stuff like that. Give that a cure. That's it, my straggle caddis. Thanks for watching this edition of On the Bench. Be sure to comment below. Tell me your favorite caddis pattern, or you know, what time of year when you like to fish them. And yeah, subscribe to our channel if you're enjoying it. Take care, everyone, and tight lines.